What's up, music fans of the internet? I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And together we are last week's album, where we're giving you two opinions on the best new music. And in this episode, we're reviewing A Flourish and a Spoil by The Districts. But before we get into it, we'll start like we always do, drinking a beer. Cheers, Derek, and everyone at home.
Cheers, Kevin, everyone at home.
And let's give you a little background on The Districts. They are a four-piece from Lititz, Pennsylvania. I believe they're now based in Philly. They started out as a high school band doing covers, eventually started writing their own music, and in 2013 released their debut, Telephone. 2 weeks before they were supposed to go to college, they signed with Fat Possum and decided to pursue music full-time and put school on hold, which we don't advise kids. But the Districts decided to do it, and now they're back with their second album, A Flourish and a Spoil, and produced by John Congleton, who produced some of last year's best albums, including St. Vincent, Strand of Oaks, and Angel Olsen. So, with that, let's talk about A Flourish and a Spoil. What do you think it sounds like, Derek?
Kevin, I think A Flourish and a Spoil sounds like the Vines eschew a band of horses in favor of a death cab for Cutie in order to escape the suburbs, which is burning because of an arcade fire.
I thought that might be where you're going with Suburbs. I like it, Derek. I like how you tied those together. I'm going to say this album sounds like the fuzz of the Strokes, the energy of Cage the Elephant, and the rawness of Nirvana. So with 7 bands there to choose from, hopefully you pick one you like. Let's get into key tracks. Derek, what are you picking?
Kevin, I'm going with a track called Peaches.
Ah, Peaches. Not to be confused with the Presidents of the United States of America track. I'm going to go with number 5, Sing This Song, but why don't you kick us off with Peaches, Derek?
Peaches, yeah, it's the second track on the album, and it's really dominated first by these fuzzy, surging guitars, sludgy bass guitar, and just a driving drum beat. There are some synth flourishes throughout. The chorus kind of features this spacey guitar, which mirrors the soaring vocal melody. The second verse kind of switches gears a little bit as there are softer drums, cleaner guitars, which I just thought was a nice touch. And the lyrics, I think the first verse summarizes arguments with a significant other. The second verse, I think, is an inventory of possible internal sources of discontent. For example, well, I remember the evenings of the days when we were just standing out. We used to crack mothers' backs just by walking the street. Now I'm sour and aching for the clock fall past 12 again. I thought it was very vivid, and just these tense emotions were described in a very relatable way that just really mirrored the intensity of the music of this track. So I just really dug Peaches.
Yeah, vivid and tense, I think, could sum up this entire album. So nice description there, Derek. However, I'm going to go with Sing the Song, number 5. And it starts off unassuming enough with jangly electric guitar, verbose lyrics, and light cymbals on the drums. Then it goes from 0 to 60 with this jolting, kick-ass chorus out of nowhere. Then we go back to guitar, drums, and vocals, a few ethereal effects, most notably an out-of-tune piano mirroring the vocal melody, and then another kick-ass chorus that sort of jolts you out of your seat, and finally the bridge, which is just sort of acoustic guitar, subtle vocals, and trippy effects that give way to this sort of loungy keyboard outro. And all those things together, the verses, the chorus, and the bridge, none of them should work together, but somehow they really, really do on this track. So I really like how they brought together these very disparate elements on Sing This Song. So check out Peaches and Sing This Song, and now it's time for Best Lyrics. Derek, what are you picking?
Kevin, mine comes from a song called Bold, and he says, and my arms are expected to know loving. Well, I felt the cold of a friendship unfold. Where once were pleats, comfort recedes into a violet glare. I'll try not to care. Just, again, vivid language describing these relatable emotions. And somehow he talks about pleats in pants, and I just thought that was kind of funny how he threw it in there. Anyway, so just some of the off-the-wall, relatable, interesting lyrics here.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to go with one from the song called Youngblood, which goes, love is patient and wise, but it's not always kind when you learn how it leaves. So nimble and lithe, lithe, excuse me, through fingers like sand. And very cryptic, very poetic, which I think you could kind of summarize all or most of the lyrics on the album, as well as Derek said, very vivid and descriptive. But yeah, really good lyrics by the Districts, I would say, overall. Which brings us to the overall rating. Derek, what are you giving it?
Kevin, I've had a tough time deciding between two scores, but you know, our discussion here is making me go big on this one. I'm going 5 out of 5 for a Flourish and a Spoil. I thought they really had a great sound here. You know, as we kind of discussed, it is very diverse in a lot of the elements it takes on. But through it all, I thought there was a musical intensity that really matched the lyrics. Which I think you and I described to here. The acoustic numbers I thought were very intriguing here. Suburban Smell and 6 a.m., they were both just lyrically overwhelming compared to the sparser instrumentation there. But I think a lot of, especially Suburban Smell, was intentional, which I thought just added to its overall effect. So I had a really hard time coming up with anything negative to say about this album, so I'm just going to go with a 5. I thought it was really strong.
All right. I'm going to slightly agree. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Unlike Derek, I do have a few cons. The main one is just that the overall fuzz and wiry guitars get to be a bit much. I wish there was a little more variety in their overall sound. But on the pro side, their youthful energy is visceral and palpable. It's almost atmospheric punk, I would describe this as. The great vocal effects. He does really interesting phrasings. Sometimes he's tripping over his own words. Sometimes he's intentionally late on the beat. Sonically, to Derek's point about acoustic and heavy numbers, they balance heavy and light really well. But overall, it can be a bit of a intense listen, but definitely a rewarding one. And a great sophomore album from a very promising young band. So I think Derek will second me here. Can't wait to hear what's next from these guys. And there you have it, guys. Derek's giving it a 5 out of 5. I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. That's a 9 out of 10 for their second album. Big achievement by the Districts here on a Flourish and a Spoil. So definitely check this one out and let us know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to us here on YouTube. As always, I'm Kevin.
I'm Derek.
And we are last week's album, 2 opinions on the best new music. See you next time, guys.